Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome back to our cute little cable show, Lunchtime Legends. I'm, of course, Vincenzo Flamboyanti. And since it's lunchtime, whether you're brown bagging, whether you've bought yourself an extra large, extra loaded pizza that you're eating by yourself, shame on you, or eating just a sensible crudité, you are in for a lunchtime treat today as we welcome an Oscar-winning guest to our set, Hollywood costume designer, Sissy Ford.
Well, thank you, Vincenzo. It's so nice to be here.
You always look fabulous. And girl, those earrings.
Aren't these great, Vincenzo? And they match my bracelet as well. But anyway, so I chanced upon these while I was on location in France, and we were shooting a film with Miss Deborah Carr and Mr. Robert Mitchum. And so Deborah liked to shop in her off-screen time, and so she and I went shopping together and chanced upon this little boutique in the middle of a provincial town called Nouvelle Merde. And aren't these just great?
Slay it, queen. Anyway, down to brass tacks. You grew up in the Carolinas, the daughter of a minister, no less. Girl, how on earth did you end up in Hollywood costume design? Do tell.
Oh gosh, I've really learned from a lot of different places, but I guess if you're talking about the, is it okay for me to look in the camera? Okay. So I primarily learned from my grandmother in the Carolinas. So she was sort of my after-school babysitter and mentor. And so she pretty much taught me sewing and knitting and crocheting. And, basically I learned everything that I knew from her. But I did have a little bit of an artist in me, if you will, a little bit of a creative streak.
So you channeled your inner gay man?
Well, I guess you could say that. There's nothing wrong with that. That red light is on now. I can look in the camera. Okay. So anyway, my best friend from high school, Susie and Sissy were inseparable. And so Susie was a highly skilled dancer, very, very classically trained, and she wanted to go to Hollywood. So, of course, being her bestie, I wanted to come with her. And so I became a seamstress apprentice, and Susie became a Busby Berkeley girl.
Love it.
Well, and she married a choreographer, and I married a key grip.
You married a key grip. I'm sure there's a joke there somewhere, but we won't go there. I digress. Sissy, what was the very first feature film that you worked on where you did all of the costume design by yourself?
Well, that would have been a B picture called Gangster in Rio, which starred Mr. Randolph Scott and Miss Tallulah Bankhead. And it was a fun film to work on, but let's just say that Edith Head had to turn that film down, and that's how I got my lucky break.
Randy and Tallulah. Sounds clashy and trashy. Anyway, is there any truth to the rumor that there was a Hollywood rivalry between you and fellow costume designer Edith Head?
Yes, well, not in the way that you would think of, say, a Hollywood feud like Bette Davis and Joan Crawford supposedly were, but there was a big stink in the press with Edith Head. She was interviewed by a magazine, and I had just won my first Oscar, but we were both nominated that year.
Remind me of the film.
It was Heaven Help Us, Mr. Allison.
Classic.
Well, so anyway, Edith had done an interview for Life magazine, and she told the interviewer that the only reason she hadn't won the Oscar that year was because I had scooped up every single bolt of red satin fabric for a film that I won for called Dino and the King of Siam.
Another classic. Roddy McDowell and Forrest Dreamy Tucker.
Well, I want to put this politely. Forrest Dreamy Tucker, was a very difficult actor to fit well for costumes because of his, now how do I put this politely? His anatomy, shall we say?
Girl, I have heard every Forrest Tucker story there is, but honey, spill the tea.
Well, see, I don't know how much I can say on TV.
Oh, please, get off the cross, Mary. We need the wood. This is cable TV.
Well, Yul Brynner was asked to play the King of Siam in this picture as well, and of course he turned it down. Why play it twice? So they had to get a versatile actor who had performed on stage, who was physical and versatile, and so they picked Mr. Roddy McDowell. And Roddy was wonderful. He was very slight and petite. He was easy to fit for the billowing pants that went on the king. And but then it came time to fit Forrest Tucker in the Foreign Legion pants, and let's just say that gravity was not cooperating with Mr. Forrest Tucker and his anatomy. So, oh dear, it was just flopping all over the place. So we finally had to take an ace bandage and just plaster the thing to his leg, and it just, oh goodness, it just wasn't working.
Details. We need to talk after the show.
Well, suffice to say, the actors had to completely switch roles, and that's why we had so much darn red satin fabric.
That is a visual that's going to stay with me for years to come, maybe even decades, girl. What was your favorite feature film to work on?
Oh, my, Vincenzo, there were so many. I think about the cast, first of all. When you think about Audrey Hepburn, I mean, she was an absolute pleasure to work with. Not only was she sweet and gracious and kind with the cast and crew alike, but she was very fashion conscious and very easy to do a fitting with. Clark Gable, I would say, also sort of fell in that category. He was very personable, very funny, very caring. The only thing about Clark was that he had this partial that had been fitted decades prior, and it was made out of wood. It was a wooden denture, so to speak. And, oh dear, you could smell Mr. Gable from the other side of the sound stage. Oh dear, I apologize if any of his surviving relatives are watching this show.
Sissy, get over it. This is cable TV. We have like 5 viewers, okay? So Clark needed some serious Listerine, it sounds like.
He did. May he rest in peace. But my favorite film, in terms of costume design to work on, has to be a fun little film that I did with the lovely and resplendent Yvonne DiCarlo. Now, everybody knows her now as Lily Munster from the Munsters television show, but oh, she was a beauty, and she had the perfect little figure, just perfect in every way, every dimension, every inch. She was so easy to do a fitting with. And well, the name of the film was called Queen of the Mozambique.
Yes, with Stuart Granger. Oh, Stuart Dreamy Granger again. Oh, and that scene where Yvonne DiCarlo sashays into the casino wearing that flowing tribal gown, and she slaps Stuart across the face and says, "You, sir, are no longer welcome in the Republic of the Mozambique." Did I slay that or what? Print that one.
Well, yes, that's the film, Vincenzo. I think you know my work better than I do.
Oh, honey, that is a gay man's dream. That film is up there with the caliber of, say, Mildred Pierce or The Women, right up there. Anyway, one last question. I know we're running out of time. Why the name Sissy? Is it your real name?
No, actually, no, it is not. My real name is Henrietta Ford, and my childhood nickname was Henry Ford. Well, you can see why that was a no-go.
But I love a woman with a man's name. Garish.
Well, anyway, my little sister Norvell, she always tried to call me sister, and it never quite came out right. It always came out Sissy, and I guess it just kind of stuck.
Like Fixident to Clark Gable's wooden dentures.
You are incorrigible, Vincenzo.
And Sissy, I now dub you a lunchtime legend. Congratulations. And girl, we have to talk about Forrest Tucker, okay?
Well, thank you for inviting me, Vincenzo.
And be sure to join us tomorrow for another lunchtime legend, Mr. Engelbert Humperdinck. You gotta go way back for that one, okay? But anyway, until then, have a great day and enjoy your lunch. Love ya. Randy and Tallulah. Sounds clashy and trashy. Anyway, so tell me, was there any truth to the rumor that there was a rivalry between you and fellow oops, blooper.